Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Another confusing day starting out. We'll see how it ends. Probably in another confusing way. But last night, I'm sure you've heard, reports came out that there was indeed a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. That would also include us, of course. The president posted this on Truth Social. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. And upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. Mm-hmm. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the Middle East, but it didn't. And never will God bless Israel. God bless, and never will. I see. Then God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the world. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Okay, that sounds great. And then if that's the case and it holds and it turns out to be all of that, then it was obviously a tremendous and brilliant move to bomb Iran. Later, he posted this. Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. They have so much to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness and truth. The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with great promise. God bless you both.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you mentioned early on there the timetable. So a little bit later on, he posted, the ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate it. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States.
Sadly, just a couple hours ago, a missile rained down on northern Israel, apparently breaking the ceasefire. However, now Israel did say they were going to be forcefully responding to that, and that's forthcoming. But Iran said it wasn't us.
Yeah.
It wasn't us.
So Iran launched their missiles right up to the last minute of the ceasefire. But then this thing came in later. So
Houthis,
we don't know.
Maybe?
We don't know. And it looks like we're going to have to get this Trump on his way to the European thing. He's talking right now. We're going to try to find out what he's saying, because I can't imagine he woke up and was happy when he saw that.
No, I'm sure he wasn't. But they do. I mean, you would think that they would take credit for it if it was them. I don't know. It's kind of strange to break the ceasefire over one missile. Stupid.
Yeah.
Asinine. So I don't know. It's precarious at best. We'll see if it holds. I sure hope it does. I pray it does. It'd be nice to put an end to this, wouldn't it? It'd be amazing. It would be really incredible if this worked out that well to where we destroyed their nuclear capabilities, and then they launch some kind of very weak attack at one of our bases, which they tell us about in advance, and then we get a ceasefire and peace. It would be ideal.
Yeah, and remember, Pakistan nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize over the weekend.
Interesting, yeah.
Just before he approved those strikes. And so people were like, oh, well, that one's shot. Well, now with the...
maybe not so much.
The ceasefire, it seems like, okay, we're back on the table. But is the ceasefire broken? This is going to be an interesting day, to be sure.
It is. There were absolutely no injuries in the attack from Iran onto our base in Qatar. And apparently they warned us in advance that it was coming.
Yeah.
And we shot down all the missiles but one. We apparently let that one land because it wasn't going anywhere.
Trump said we set that one free.
Yeah. So it's fascinating. For them to just, first of all, inform us that, yeah, we're going to attack you just to save face. And then let us know so that there's no loss of life, no injuries on our part.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, they told Qatar told us, and we were able to evacuate the base in plenty of time.
Yeah.
And it's just a way for Iran to try to make it look
save
like,
face.
yeah, sure, we're totally fighting back.
Well, and they told their people. Iranian media said, we totally destroyed the base.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. We totally destroyed it.
You should have seen it. We'd show you pictures, but
yeah, it's too disturbing.
Yeah.
You'll have nightmares the rest of your life. So we're not going to show you any of it. Just know we gave them what for. United States won't soon be attacking us again.
Yeah. And very symbolic, of course, with them using the same number of missiles that we dropped. Bombs.
Yeah, it was 14, right?
Yeah.
Talk about a proportional response.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to believe that they are pretty sincere about wanting to stop all of this. I think maybe they had a realization that we're serious now. No other American president really backed up what they were threatening to do with Iran. This one did, and so they don't want none of that. And they really wanted to come to the table and put an end to this thing. That's what it seems like. So it would be surprising if that missile did come from them. But there's so many bad actors in the Middle East. Who knows? Could be Houthis, Hezbollah. I don't know. Although Hezbollah has said, Iran's a powerful country. They can defend themselves. We're not getting into this at all. Hezbollah said that. Hamas said that.
Yeah.
So
did we lose our treaty with the Houthis over the attack on Iran?
I'm not sure.
I think I saw something where they were like, okay, well, now it's over, our peace. Okay.
Really?
Houthis.
All right. Well, you want more of this?
Cool.
You want some more of that? All right.
Some more of that.
We'll give you something to cry about. Don't make me come back there. But they just might. I don't understand the Houthis. It's incredible. The unmitigated gall that they have. And, I guess they're not going to stop until they're completely wiped off the face of the earth, perhaps.
And this would also still have to go through the supreme leader and so on. But the Iranian parliament yesterday did approve a general plan to suspend cooperation with the IAEA for what that's worth. So we could just be starting the whole process.
Yeah, they're pissed at the IAEA.
Nuclear weapon yet again.
Yeah.
We'll see where that goes.
The IAEA is not playing their game. And they're really the ones who've been kind of driving this and saying, they're not abiding by any of it. They're not. They're trying to get a nuclear weapon here. When you enrich uranium, it's got to be enriched to 3 to 5% for peaceful purposes. 3 to 5% enrichment gets you like a nuclear power plant. They're at 60% and working toward 90, which is full weapons grade. So, there's an issue there. Why do you keep enriching it like this if it's for peaceful purposes? You're way beyond that already. So, after the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuke facilities, several in Congress said they weren't notified beforehand. We heard all the weeping and wailing from the Democrats. They didn't tell us. They didn't even tell us. Yesterday, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt said that's not true.
We did make bipartisan calls. Thomas Massey and the Democrats, he should be a Democrat because he's more aligned with them than with the Republican Party.
No,
we're given notice. The White House made calls to congressional leadership. They were bipartisan calls. In fact, Hakeem Jeffries couldn't be reached. We tried him before the strike, and he didn't pick up the phone, but he was briefed after, as well as Chuck Schumer was briefed prior to the strike. So this notion that CNN ran with at the White House did not give a heads up to Democrats is just completely false. In fact, Both Senator Schumer's office and CNN had to retract that story last night because it was a blatant lie. And we showed them the timestamps from those phone calls. But I want to add something to Thomas Massey's false point. The White House was not obligated to call anyone because the president was acting within his legal authority under Article 2 of the Constitution as Commander-in-Chief of the President of the United States. We gave these calls as a courtesy, and the Democrats are lying about this because they can't talk about the truth of the success of that operation and the success of our United States military and the success of this president and this administration in doing something that past administrations, Democrats too, have only dreamed about.
And every U.S. president, except George Washington, has done this kind of military action. I mean, this has been going on for 100 years with presidents. They act unilaterally, at least in part for a while, on, certain issues. They'll send the military to do a job. They'll bomb certain countries for certain reasons.
You get 60 days.
Yeah. Yep. So, the other thing is, I don't care if they did exclude Democrats from this. Makes perfect sense not to tell the Democrats. Perfect sense.
And if that phone call, she said it went to Hakeem Jeffries, it should be 10 seconds before the pilot is ordered to drop the bomb.
Yeah. I think telling them after the strike was over was entirely appropriate. Because you don't trust them. I wouldn't trust them for something that's sensitive, wherein American military lives are at stake. You're going to take the chance that you're going to tell a bunch of Democrats who hate your guts? I'm not going to. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman may be the only Democrat heaping praise on the president and his team after the strikes.
There's going to be a lot of people in my party that are going to disagree with the strike in Iran, and I actually support that. I've been always calling for that thing. I think it was entirely appropriate. And again, there might be votes on that. So for me, that's not a war. That was a very limited military exercise,
yes.
And it struck that, and then that's where we're at. So really, it really wasn't about unconstitutional or it's anything like that. It was like a very, very limited military engagement, and then it took them out, damaged them severely.
Yep. I love the reset. I love the factory reset. He still doesn't vote like a Republican, but man, he speaks some common sense from time to time. Plus, he is so much better than he was a few years ago. He's come a long way with his verbal skills. It's pretty impressive. Yesterday, Iran responded to the strikes, of course, as we mentioned. Scott Jennings talked about it on CNN.
And I think, Seth Moulton spoke to this. If this, in fact, effectively sets back the program and doesn't lead to wider escalation, the president seems to have accomplished all the objectives that he set out to achieve.
What?
Of course. I told you yesterday I didn't think we were at war and that this represented a de-escalation of the situation. And that's exactly where we are with this flaccid Iranian response. In the words of the great boxer Roberto Duran, no mas, no mas. That's what Iran is saying after Israel has degraded their military capabilities and the president of the United States has taken away their ability to make nuclear weapons. This is capitulation, in my opinion, from Iran today. And it is a complete and total vindication of the Trump strategy, which was to let Israel beat these guys to a pulp. We show up and take away their nukes. Yes, let's have a deal now. I think it'd be great to have a deal with Iran about right now.
It would, wouldn't it? I really hope it holds. I really do. It would be a massive victory for this. And what are Democrats going to say about that? If the ceasefire holds after we have obliterated their nuclear capability, and then all of a sudden they do this weak response just to save face and then declare a ceasefire, what do you say against that? How do you hate on that plan? Pretty difficult, because he'd be completely vindicated. If peace ensues now, completely vindicated. So we'll see. We'll see. Yesterday, just as the news of the ceasefire started to trickle out, this is fun because J.D. Vance had an appearance on Fox scheduled with Bret Baier. And, I mean, just as he went on the air, the news was breaking.
When I left the White House, I thought that we might be able to get it across the finish line before this broadcast, and it looks like the president has been able to do that. I mean, look, he's been working the phones constantly. Frankly, before the 12-day war started, but certainly over the past 12 days, the president's been extremely clear about America's national objective here. It is to create a world where Iran cannot build a nuclear weapon. We, of course, destroyed the nuclear program that they had, and the president told the entire team, we're going to work to make sure that they don't try to rebuild that nuclear capability in the future. And look, this is a great thing. For Israel, think about this. They've accomplished an important military objective. They've helped us destroy the Iranian nuclear program. They've also destroyed the conventional missile capability of Iran that threatened the country of Israel. For the Iranians, I think this is a new opportunity to actually pursue the path of peace. As I said yesterday, what the Iranians have showed through their support of terror networks, through their now failed effort to build a nuclear weapon, is that they're just not very good at war. And I think the president really hit the reset button and said, look, let's actually produce long-term peace for the region. That's always been his goal. I actually think when we look back, we will say the 12-day war was an important reset moment for the entire region.
Let's hope it is the 12-day war. Let's hope we can continue to call it that.
Not 12 and some change.
Yeah, not
13-ish.
Not 14, not 20. Not a year and a half. U.S. intelligence actually believes, we were hearing that, they moved their uranium somewhere else right before the attack. U.S. intelligence believes that Iran did not move any nuclear material from Fordo. In fact, they said they might have moved some in before the attack because they considered it impenetrable. And so they might have put more uranium in that facility.
Okay.
Interesting.
I hope it's not in China.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. There's so much up in the air right now.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to know exactly how to feel about it.
Fluid situation.
Yeah, it is.
But right now, it appears that Trump's bold move has paid off in a
big time. Way. Yeah.
Bigly.
Were there any casualties from the missile that fell on northern Israel this morning? Do we know about that?
I don't think so. I see, because there's a group of missiles that came
right before, right?
But that lone missile, I don't.
Was it just a slow missile? Maybe it just slowed down and it was hovering for a while, and then fell after the ceasefire was
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
it just slowed down. It hit the retrojets.
It hit a strong headwind.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know. I like J.D. Vance's flaccid response. That's a good line there.
That is.
But he's right. This is Iran doing everything they can to save face. But I think every country in the world looks at this and is taking pause and going, holy crap, not only is the United States of America back, they're back with a vengeance and with righteous might that was used in a proper way. And they're also looking at Iran going, boy, you guys suck. Yeah. So let's just hope let's hope and pray that this thing is completely over.
Yeah, it's a good combination. Let's do.
And if you're in Iran right now, how are you not rising up against this battered regime?
And the guy's 86 years old. The Ayatollah Khamenei is 86 years old. It's time to go. It's time to go. And interesting that it's almost the exact same name as the Ayatollah from 1980 when we had the last really, really big problem with Iran. Strange, but just coincidence, I'm sure. World leaders sounded off after the U.S. attack. It's kind of interesting now to take a look at what everybody was saying, especially in light of this thing might be over now. But let's see, who was this? Oh, Time magazine posted a list of the leaders around the world that have talked about this. And of course, it's a mixed reaction. Argentina's President Javier Milei said, today's a great day for Western civilization after the attack. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said he called for de-escalation, dialogue, and diplomacy. So the 3 Ds is what he wants to see. But he did signal Australian support for the U.S. strikes. He said, "We support the action that the U.S. has taken to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. We do not want to see escalation, however." Mark Carney in Canada said Iran can never be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon. In Chile, they demanded peace. "We will defend respect for international humanitarian law at all times. Having power does not authorize you to use it in violation of the rules we have established as humanity, even if you are the United States." Yeah, because Chile is just a shining example of humanity. China strongly condemned the action, of course. The Czech Republic supported the U.S. strikes. European Union supported the strikes. France just claimed they were not involved in the attacks. Yeah, thanks. We knew the surrender monkeys were not a part of this. We knew that. Appreciate it. But he said they had a firm opposition to Iran gaining access to nuclear weapons. France is convinced that a lasting solution to this issue requires a negotiated solution. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said today, "I discussed the latest developments with UK Prime Minister Starmer. We reaffirm our commitment to peace and stability for all countries." In other words, everybody's just, we're willing to sit back and allow the United States to once again take care of everything on the planet that needs to be taken care of. And you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So, okay, timeline again. We get the ceasefire last night. It's announced just before the ceasefire takes into in effect. We have the missiles takes out the apartment complex in Israel. 5 people reported dead there.
Oh.
So
with this latest missile?
No, this is the missiles that hit right before the ceasefire went into effect.
Right.
Then we have the rogue missile that shows up. Iran says it's not ours. Israel says, screw you. We're about to go all over you. Mm-hmm. And now the president has just spoken, and we have that clip this morning.
All right.
I don't think so, but I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target.
Okay, it missed.
And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous. I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either. All I do is play both sides. I'm going now, as you know, to NATO. Some of you are going with me, and I think it's going to be successful. We'll see. I'll let you know.
Are you going to achieve the agreement? It's a new dawn in the Middle East. Thanks to the agreement you managed to achieve. What are your future plans for the region, for Saudi Arabia, Israel, Gaza, the hostages?
Look, you're asking me about women in the Middle East. It's getting a lot better. Things are happening at a high level. As you know, Saudi Arabia's done a really good job. It's coming out far faster than I thought. So we're very happy about what's happening with women in the Middle East.
No, I'm talking about
We don't know what she was talking about now.
I bet it was.
Now we'll never know.
Yeah. So there you go. He's not happy with Israel. He's obviously not happy with Iran either. But here we go.
But we don't know where it stands then.
Mm-hmm. He's on his way to NATO, where Volodymyr Zelensky is requesting $40 billion a year.
Right, from the NATO allies. Okay, yeah. Let's just continue to pump money into that country in perpetuity. Is that what you want? Well, of course it's what he wants. And so let's do it. I mean, we're all flying the Ukrainian flag, right? We're all about Ukraine right now. Frankly, we hear very little about Ukraine right now. And at this NATO meeting, the president is requesting that all the NATO countries donate, or not donate, but pay their fair share of 5% of their GDP, which is a lot more than anybody's paying right now. I mean, you're lucky if they're at 2%. So to go to 5% now, it'll be interesting to see if he can pull that off.
Yeah, and, this was really buried over the weekend that Japan pulled out of defensive talks with the U.S. because the U.S. changed. They said they wanted Japan to do 3% of their GDP toward defense, and then they tried to change it. The U.S. said, nah, actually you need to be doing 3.5%. Japan got miffed, pulled out of the conversation, so I don't know. Just add that to the list of things.
They've been just a tad spoiled over the last 70 years, haven't they? We take care of all of their defense, and so they don't want to do anything. They're kind of used to it now,
and that's the problem with NATO too.
Yeah, it is.
It's like,
yes, it is.
Y'all need to step up.
So, got some others that were talking about the ceasefire, and this, of course, happened. A lot of these statements happened before the latest round of back and forth.
This is last night after the ceasefire news broke, and boy, Republicans, every Republican in Congress was like, I'll go on your show.
Yeah.
They were in a good mood, and rightfully so.
Senator John Curtis, he's the one who took over for Romney. Here's his comments.
First of all, I would say the first chapter in the book, Peace Through Strength, should be the case study of what's happened here. I like my colleagues, will have a classified briefing tomorrow. I think we'll know a whole lot more. I think, like many people, we're trying to understand ourselves, but it appears from all indications to be very positive.
Sure does. Well, until the missiles started flying and Israel is responding. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen from Oklahoma had this to say.
What President Trump demonstrated is that you can lead by strength, and when you're able to do so, the rest of the world pays attention. What President Trump did here is he reset the rightful place of the United States of being the leader in the world, and now the rest of the Middle East can breathe a sigh of relief. No one in that region wanted Iran to have a nuclear weapon. No one did. And now the best way to achieve peace is make sure you have economic ties. You can do that through the Abraham Accord, or you can do that through normalization. But the more you tie their economy together, the longer peace will happen.
And Senator Eric Schmidt from Missouri said
I mean, it's pretty incredible. It's a real masterclass, Laura, and I think they'll be writing books about this, the way to end the 12-day war. It was a precision, very limited engagement. Those B-2s that took off from my home state of Missouri executed something pretty remarkable in the air for 30 hours, basically dropped those bunker busters on something the size of a wheelbarrow to take out their nuclear program. Again, very precise, very limited. And then President Trump, which I think is very unique to him, certainly the presidents over the last 30 years, he immediately got on the phone and tried to broker peace. He is the peace president. That's his natural inclination. And who would have thought, if you were sitting here just a couple of years ago, that you'd have Israel and Iran at the table here with a ceasefire, Hezbollah, Hamas completely wiped out, the Abraham Accords maybe on the march.
Right.
President Trump's done something I think that nobody could have imagined, and he did it in a way that's true to sort of his American realism, right? He takes these enemies as they are, these actors on the world stage as they are, not as an ideologue, not as somebody who wants permanent regime change or get pulled into a Middle East war. There were a lot of voices out there here in permanent Washington that wanted more engagement. And President Trump, I think he had that restraint and that instinct to do what needed to be done to bring about peace, and it's pretty dramatic, and it's incredible, really.
How do you argue with any of that?
No, it's perfect.
You can't.
Well said. I think one of those individuals in Washington that was upset that we may be done over there is Lindsey Graham. He was the only one last night who was like, wait, we're done? What do you mean we're done? Ceasefire? I don't want a ceasefire. I want to send troops over there, boots on the ground.
You know he'd love that. He would absolutely. He's never met a war he didn't absolutely fall in love with. So hopefully that little ambition will be thwarted, though. Let's just hope this holds. I mean, with the president of the United States being pissed off at Israel now, maybe that will lessen their response a bit. I sure hope so. Because this would be day 13 of the 12-day war.
And you don't want it to be like a college football conference that's called like the Big Ten that has 18 teams in it.
The 12-day war went on for 6 months?
Exactly.
Huh, that's weird.
Yeah, we need to wrap this up, boys.
Yeah, we do. 888-900-3393. More coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Got some tweets here. Efforting thought criminal tweets Vice President Vance saying flaccid response needs to find its way onto a Pat Gray bingo card.
Just too muck and fudge.
Sure it will.
Are you listening? Just too muck and fudge.
Bunter Hayden, pardon crack connoisseur. Wait, the Ayatollah is older than Joe Biden, but can still make some sense? Maybe.
Technically.
Not sure.
Yeah, bad example.
From Giblets, you make the call. The Surrender Monkeys band name, Twitter handle, or bingo square. And from Paco D, Surrender Monkeys. Great punk band.
Yep.
Yeah, indeed. This might be a good time to reflect on a couple of the things that Joe Biden is responsible for. For instance, more than 700 Iranian nationals illegally entering the United States during the fiscal years 2021 through 2024. Border agents apprehended 1,504 Iranian nationals who illegally entered U.S. between ports of entry nationwide. And every year, those numbers increased exponentially. Started with 48 Iranians in fiscal 2021. Went to 197 in 2022, 462 in 23, and 797 apprehended in 2024, for the total of over 1,500. And then they released 729 of them into the interior of the United States of America. I'm sure they all have court dates in 2035, 2038, 2040. So they'll be appearing in court, because they pinky promised. And, they'll be there.
What's that? There's this host on The Blaze, his name Pat Gray, who often says, if you were trying to destroy this country,
what would you do differently?
What would you do differently?
I've heard him say that before.
And there is example after example after example from the Biden administration.
Absolutely. I mean, jeez. They released 12 of them into the interior in 21, 40 in 22, 229 in 23, and 448 just released. Bye-bye in 24. So you got those numbers going for you, which is really exciting, isn't it? Who knows why they're here? I mean, they might mostly be here peacefully. I don't know. Maybe all of them are. But there's a really good chance that some of them have nefarious plans in mind. Brent McGurk, former Biden NSC coordinator for the Middle East, had praise for the Trump team as well.
Look, bottom line, this is about the best place we can be. I give extremely high marks to this national security team and President Trump for managing this crisis and given where we are.
Wow.
But now let's follow through. There's a chance for diplomacy here.
Extremely high remarks. Democrats everywhere are pissed at him for saying that.
Yeah,
they don't care what kind of job he did. You can't call it that, right?
Yeah, I assume because he served in the Obama administration. I assume McGurk is a Democrat. But I'm so grateful for people that are just intellectually honest. And like McGurk there.
Because it's rare.
Van Jones yesterday, Fetterman.
Yeah. Right.
Just, it just take each thing that comes along and address it on principle, not party. It's not that difficult.
It's not. It is not.
That's a message to both sides.
And if anybody's still upset about the airstrikes that Trump authorized that didn't have a problem with the half dozen times Barack Obama did, here's a montage to remind them.
Today I authorized 2 operations in Iraq. Targeted airstrikes to protect our American personnel.
Unconstitutional!
Last night, on my orders, America's armed forces began strikes against ISIL targets in Syria.
Dictator!
Today, at my direction, the United States launched a targeted operation against that compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. Today, I authorized the armed forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya. Because a nuclear Iran is a threat to our national security. They can take the diplomatic route, or they will have to face a United States president, me, who said we're not going to take any option. off
the table.
Table
would be my guess.
Now, how did you get there?
I don't know how I got there. I don't know.
He might have said we're
psychic.
Gonna take,
I'm like Kreskin.
Any options off the tabby cat. You don't know how he was going to finish that.
I don't know for a fact. I was just psychically sensing off the table was coming.
All right.
Yesterday, the U.S. Supreme Court overruled a lower court judge who said illegal aliens couldn't be sent to a third-party country. The ruling? Guess. 6-3, of course. Yes. With the 3 liberals dissenting, and here was Stephen Miller after that good news ruling came down.
This is an incredible victory, the Supreme Court win. It allows President Trump, as the law has long said, but the courts have blocked, it allows President Trump to send illegal aliens convicted of rape, murder, homicide, assault, battery, crimes against children to any country around the world that is willing to accept them. So whether that be South Sudan, or whether it be Somalia, or whether it be Ethiopia, any country in the world that is willing to accept these monsters, we can get them out of our country and be free of them forever. The only thing I have to share tonight, Sean, in a little bit of breaking news, is that the district court judge in Boston has said he's going to defy the Supreme Court's ruling. So expect fireworks tomorrow when we hold this judge accountable for refusing to obey the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I mean, this is the judge that put it in front of them to begin with, because he didn't want to send these, what do you call them, monsters?
Monsters, yeah.
Third country. Yeah.
They're going to send him to a place they don't know and understand? Ugh, that is so inhumane.
So this is U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy, who, honestly, at this point, you should just be ignoring every ruling he has. Seriously, if he's if you're going to defy the Supreme Court like this, then we have no system of law at all. Joe Biden appointee, of course. There it is. Oh, in the lame duck December days, December 2024. This guy's just been a judge for a few months.
Wow. Jeez.
No, ignore this guy.
Incredible. Between ignoring ICE, attacking ICE agents, impeding their duties, and ignoring Supreme Court rulings, and who is it that is defying and destroying democracy right now? It is not Republicans. It's not conservatives. It is the left, as they continue to do all of these things that are unconstitutional. All the things. Exactly. All right. We are days away from what's been dubbed the Rio Reset, the greatest threat to the U.S. dollar and its global dominance in over 80 years. On July 6th, BRICS nations, Russia, China, India, Iran, Brazil, which is where the B comes from in BRICS, are expected to unveil their plans to circumvent the U.S. dollar, thus creating and cratering its value. They've already been laying the groundwork for a while now, as their central banks have been methodically divesting from the U.S. dollar and U.S. bonds in favor of gold. How can you protect your IRA or 401k from the fallout from this landmark shift? Well, you can diversify with gold from Birch Gold Group. Historically, gold has been a safe haven in times of high uncertainty, which is right now. Get a free info kit on tax-sheltered gold IRAs by texting the word PAT to 989898. July 6th marks a monumental shift happening among nations that control a third of the world's GDP. So arm yourself with information right now to diversify your retirement savings. Just text PAT to the number 989898. Claim your free info kit. Go through it. See if it's right for you from Birch Gold.
Yes. Pat Gray continues.
Man, there is just so much going on right now. Attorney General Pam Bondi was in front of Congress yesterday. Didn't even know about this because she had a chat about funding the ATF yesterday with Representative Rosa DeLauro. That's always fun when Rosa DeLauro is involved. Here's how that went down.
Everyone sitting up here, guns and drugs go together. They go together. We're going to make it more efficient. What I will tell you will not be happening is ATF agents will not be knocking on the doors of legal gun owners in the middle of the night asking them about their guns. They're going to be out on the streets. If I can finish, they're going to be out on the streets.
I have three
No.
minutes.
You asked me a question.
I did, and
you asked me a question.
and you
and I'm
haven't
gonna
answered
answer
my
it.
question.
So they're going to be out on the streets working
You haven't
hand in hand
answered my
with
question.
DEA
You
to
haven't
violate.
answered. Mr. Chairman, I'd like an answer to my question. And the question is not being answered. How many ATF law enforcement officers and industry operations investigators do you anticipate will be lost to attrition as a result of the funding reduction you are proposing? You are proposing a 26% cut to ATF for fiscal year 2026, as well as a 4.4% cut to DEA. So you're going to merge the two agencies together, and then you're going to shortchange their resources, so neither one of them will be able to do the job that they have been designed to do. You've got a 34% cut to the high-intensity drug trafficking areas program, no dedicated money at all for the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force. So, my view, it's fair to say that the Trump administration proposal shortchanges federal efforts to stop illegal gun trafficking and federal efforts to stop the flow of dangerous illegal drugs like fentanyl.
As I was attempting to answer your question very calmly, unlike you. Excuse me, Madam Attorney General. Answer yes or no. Tell me what the numbers are. I don't want to hear all of your filibuster about this. Go ahead. Please, tell us the numbers. So we are reorganizing. ATF agents want to be out on the street.
Okay, let me answer the question for you. I'm going to answer it for you. Page...
What? Answer it for me.
Mr. Chairman, you give me a certain amount of time, and I have a high respect for you, but I don't have to listen, nor do my colleagues have to listen to a filibuster when it's a simple question.
Wait, so you're going to answer for the witness? I don't think that's how that works.
Well, it is when you have purple and black hair.
Right, yes or no? You're too old to be dyeing your hair bright purple. Yeah, it's a yes or no question, Representative. Honestly, I love seeing liberals lose their minds like that. That's kind of sure is tasty.
It shows exactly what Republicans go through in all of these hearings. Same thing. Yeah. And so it's pretty interesting.
It sure is.
When, the other side is doing it to them. They don't like it.
No.
They don't like it at all.
No. By the way, remember how that Trump clip from this morning cut off?
Yeah.
There's a little bit more. You have to hear this quote from Trump.
Okay.
This sums up the Middle East perfectly. We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the F they're doing.
Oh, wow. And he actually said it, huh?
Donald Trump. Direct quote from this morning.
Okay.
In front of the White House.
All right.
He's not happy. Well, I don't blame him.
And he shouldn't be.
No, he should not be.
With either country. I mean, Israel knows that this is precarious at best, and they've got a chance here for peace. So relax. When the last missile caused no damage to anybody, and it came after the ceasefire, let it go. Do you really have to respond to that? And of course, the answer is no. They didn't have to. It's too bad. It really is too bad. So is this fact. I'm not a big Andrew Cuomo fan, but this situation in New York right now with the mayoral race is unbelievable. This Zohran Mamdani actually took the lead in the last poll.
Yeah.
Apparently with there's 5 or 6 people in the race. And Cuomo leads it when everybody is considered.
Correct.
35-32. But then when the top 2 go to a runoff,
rank voting.
Yeah. It's 52, almost 52-48.
The betting markets.
Mamdani.
Betting markets chimed in yesterday. There's a 60-40 chance that Zohran, the anti-Semitic socialist rapper, is going to beat Andrew Cuomo. Betting markets say 61-38.
$61.38.
Yeah, and we're going to hit the wall here on the time, but we have some clips that folks need to absorb of Zohran.
All right.
That's today. I mean, that primary's today.
Let's get to the first one at least.
Okay, here he is, the grocery store one. We're going to have government-run grocery stores in New York City. You're going to love this.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way.
And the little Mike
I'm Zohran
thing, too.
Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores.
What?
It's like a public option for produce. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive or having to pay property taxes or rent, and will pass on those savings to you.
That is jaw-dropping.
It sure is, yeah. So
I don't even know what to say to that.
So no property taxes. So he's admitting that the government demanding money to exist in a location.
Wow.
Can go back to where that graphic started, Joe? Because just when that graphic starts, the little cartoon thingy, just pause that first frame. I want to see if I saw something accurately there. Get that if you can. Let's see. Are we going to be able to cue that up? Because it goes from public. No. Okay, let it play a little bit here. And then when you see the little building, press pause. Keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah, right there. Public healthcare. Look at that. Public healthcare, and then press play. And public. Look at
public supermarket.
Look at the messaging.
Oh my.
Get ready for that phrase. Public supermarket. That's coming. That's going to be the phrase that pays going forward if this guy becomes the mayor of New York City.
I have never seen one of these socialists be this bold about their socialist plans.
Remember, he's going to freeze rent too.
That's right. Yeah. He couched it some way. Do you remember that?
It was right. If you read between the lines, he's not going to get away with it in too many places. But I forgot what it was. It was worded in a way that if you're just watching it on a Sunday afternoon on your couch,
like, oh wow,
that guy,
my rent's not going to go up.
I want that guy. Yeah.
Okay, so he's hitting people where they live in their pocketbook and saying, look, the private grocery store is just not working. You have to pay way too much money. So the city will just run them, and we'll keep the prices low for you.
Yeah, dynamic pricing sucks.
Oh, my
And you just don't have to go to a store that uses that as that begins to somewhat gain some steam. But technically, dynamic pricing, I mean, they could go in, somebody could change the price on the shelf manually 12 times a day if they wanted to. Just because it's more efficient with an LED thing that has a signal, that you can just dial in and change it. It's just because it's more efficient. Now this
is super dangerous. I mean, I don't like Andrew Cuomo, but come on.
Yes.
He's got to win that race. More coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Got some tweets here. It's Rhino season tweets. Actually, the 12-day war and every war between Israel and their Islamic enemies started when Isaac and Ishmael were kids. So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
What you're saying there. Two-Spirit Gerbil. We should put shock collars on Democrats that go off anytime they're hypocritical. I'm fine if you want to put them on Republicans, too. Just would require a few more batteries for the Dems.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dimples, Ms. DeLauro, filibustering on how she doesn't like Bondi filibustering.
Yeah.
She is projecting like the bat signal. And she looks like Two-Face or some other Batman villain.
Oh, yeah.
Very true. Pat's broken lightning bolt, obviously. Amendment number 28. All representatives shall have neutral-colored hair if hair is present. Yeah, it's a good idea. That really is. We played the Zohran Mamdani that is extremely... In fact, let's play that again because it's This is important for New Yorkers to understand what's happening here. You're about to elect a dyed-in-the-wool socialist who actually wants to bring socialism to New York City. And he's telling you right up front. Pretty amazing. Play the one about the grocery stores again, because there's a couple more that we want to get to as well. This guy's
grocery prices are out of
actually
control.
in the lead.
Cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way.
Jeez.
I'm Zohran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce.
Wow.
We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive or having to pay property taxes or rent, and will pass on those savings to you.
Okay. All right.
Good luck, New York. Today's the day. Go and vote.
Good luck. Holy cow.
And I watched the majority of the New York Democrat debate, and there are no good options.
No. But at least you know what you're getting with Cuomo. You know what you're getting. Yeah, and it's not going to be good, but it's not that disaster.
Nope.
That is incredible. What is the matter with you? How do you even consider this guy? And again, Cuomo leads 35-32 when it includes all of the candidates. But then when it's the top two, it's Mamdani, or whatever his name is.
Zohran Mamdani.
About 52-48, or it's very close to that. So that's not good. And then you'll only have the option of maybe voting Republican, which isn't going to happen in November. Yeah. This is just the Democrat primary, but so there's a general election. But what Republican is going to beat the Democrat in New York City? That is frightening. It really is. In the nation's most populous city, you don't need a hardcore socialist running things. Yeah. Here he is talking about fake accents.
Because I think that New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
They go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life. Worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Mamdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
In a Disney movie directed by his mother.
Nepotism and hard work goes a long way. Here in New York City, this is how I speak, this is how I am.
Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan?
Wow.
That's right. I forgot he tried to get up to Homan in New York. He is. Okay. And you talked about Zohran, or you talked about New York City being the largest city in America. And fun fact, Steve Colbert had him on last night, and I watched a little bit of that to see if there's anything for the show, and no new news there. A lot of people wanted Stephen Colbert to hold Zohran's feet to the fire for being with his anti-Semitic views. Come on now, Colbert's not going to do that.
No, he's not.
But one of the things that Colbert mentioned was that New York City has the largest Jewish population after Tel Aviv, I believe it was. I think he said Tel Aviv is the most populous Jewish city, and then it's New York City. It's an interesting stat.
It is.
And it's even more interesting when you consider how Zohran feels about Jews.
Wow.
This guy could be the mayor in about 6 months.
Yeah, crazy. It's unbelievable. And here he is as a former rapper, Mr.
You're gonna
Cardamom.
Okay, so this you're going to love. I don't know how much of this song you're going to want to listen to, Pat, but it's catchy.
I bet
and
it is.
He's clearly
I bet
talented.
It's really, really good.
And it's just a shame it didn't work out for him, because then he got into politics, and who knows? Sky's the limit. Right? Oh no! So are you
pretty catchy so
You're
far.
liking this, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh my.
It's good, right?
And how long ago was this? He looks the same.
Probably last week. I don't know. It doesn't take long to skyrocket in New York politics, I guess.
It's a rap.
All right. There you go. There's
That's
your
good stuff.
likely future mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani.
Frightening.
Or
Seriously.
Cardamom.
Scary.
I guess is his rapper name. You gonna crank this up on the way home? Is it on Spotify? Oh, that's what I
gotta be, right?
Now,
wow, he's
now if
good.
I look it up, that my Spotify DJ is gonna misinterpret this. This is research, there, DJ. So we'll see what happens. Cardamom is his name.
Mr. It's
Is it Mr.
Cardamom. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I found him.
Yeah, did you?
Oh,
so he
my.
is on Spotify. So you can
that specific
get that
song
right now.
is really the only song that I can see on here.
They don't have his entire catalog?
I don't know. I don't know that he has an entire catalog. There it is. Okay. All right. Spotify DJ now taking that data and misinterpreting it for future plays.
Really good stuff.
Cool.
Wow. Another city with terrible leadership is the third largest in the country, Chicago. And recently, Mayor Brandon Johnson got some heat from the locals again.
I love
This
the
is
way
great.
Chicago does this and
Me
makes
too.
you sit there and take it, bro.
Yep.
You all sit up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaign and double down
So great.
that you would not raise property taxes.
I won't raise your property taxes.
You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example at this right here first.
Oh, no.
Please come here first. Spend our tax dollars to go. Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. That's cool because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's gonna rap? I think not. Flip Chicago red. We not playing.
This was going to happen to you.
Okay.
You got Cash Patel and Pam Bondi that you're going to have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's going to be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment.
Okay.
Conviction. That's what's going to happen to you.
Mr. Brandon Johnson, I'm up here. I am speaking right now.
Okay, this guy's got a
would love
good
your
stat.
undivided
Listen to
attention,
this.
please. I'll wait.
I'll wait. Yeah, pay attention to me, bro.
So this just proves to you the lack of leadership that you show in this city. You can't even give me straight eye contact. Now, I'm going to let you know now, the people of Chicago, we're done with you. It is insane how we have been voting Democrat for over 60 plus years, and we've never seen a change from people like you, Lori Lightfoot, Rob Emanuel. It is insane. Chicago was 37% red. In 2020, it was only 15%. So we're waking up. So you can pretend that this isn't happening, but I know for a fact that you will not have that seat the next election.
You so strong about protecting those aliens, but you won't do nothing for the U.S. citizens.
That is fantastic. Good for them for not putting up with it. Jeez, that's great.
Yeah, so
that is so great. 37%
up from 15.
That's
election
significant.
over election.
That is really significant.
So
in 4 years,
I
amazing.
I believe that's 2020 to 2024. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens going forward. There
it is
with the vote in Chicago.
And so far, he's shown no concern for his constituents at all.
No.
So it's great that he has to stand there and listen to him.
I haven't been to O'Hare Airport in a while. I'm assuming that you don't have illegals sleeping on the floors anymore, because that would be like ducks on a pond for Tom Homan.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing.
Yeah. That probably stopped.
Yeah.
But you remember that was police? It was police precincts they were sleeping on the floors
That's
of.
right.
It was airports. There's tent cities. I mean, there are people living under overpasses in Texas. I mean, on and on and on and on. It's just not good for them. It's not good for us. It's not good for anybody. Neither is this heat wave that is sweeping the nation. Interestingly, in Texas, it's not been all that bad, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the 90s now, but usually it's 173 by this time of year.
It's been interesting to see people in Maine complaining about the temperatures.
Yeah.
But what's the high temperature today here? Come on, Portland, Maine. What do you got? It's 81 right now in Portland, Maine, with a high of 94 today.
Yeah, they don't like that.
They don't like that.
They don't
have the air conditioning either. So
not good.
Good luck. So it's several days here still in the Northeast.
So the
this is the map that I
big
was
map.
holding up yesterday. Let's put that up there.
Yeah.
Perspective here. Perspective.
It just shows you the high temperatures from every state and when they occurred.
Yeah, the record highs.
Because obviously global warming, they're all going to be like 24, 23, 2022. I mean, maybe you go back as far as 2021, but, they're all recent highs.
They're color-coded by decade, and predominantly it's red. The red ones
Which were the
are
30s.
The 30s and the teens and
Look
the
at that.
20s in there. The
Look at
orange
that.
is the 50s.
The green are the 90s.
Right. So you got the light green is the aughts, right? Looks like Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, Illinois, Kentucky, South Carolina all had record heat in 2012. Well, that's just the 6 states there. I think that's the most Idaho's 2015, 2021 up in Oregon and Washington. But beyond that,
116.
they're
Wow.
old records beyond that.
116 degrees in 2015 in Idaho. 112 in 1988 in Montana. But they're mostly really old records.
Yeah, I'm just counting on the fly here. I mean, well over half are 70 years or older, right? I mean, God.
Yeah.
It's look, no one's not saying that it's hot, and we've got some very dramatic video in overtime that will illustrate this point. But it's been worse, a whole lot worse, and everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. All right, when the time comes for you to move, and whether that means you're moving in the same town or anywhere else in the country or who knows where you're going, but you're going to want a real estate agent who's great, right? You want somebody who really knows what they're doing. They're really good at what they do for a living. You don't want some fly-by-night moonlighters, because they just don't cut it for you. After all, Glenn found this out years ago when he used to have to move a lot. He got tired of dealing with mediocre agents right and left, so he created a free service called Real Estate Agents I Trust that connects you with top-performing agents who actually care about your outcome. Agents who are experienced, they're vetted, and fully committed to helping you buy or sell with confidence. Whether you're moving across the country or across town, these are the people Glenn would hire himself, and the only ones he puts his name behind, because your move isn't just your move, it's your life, and you deserve to work with someone who treats it that way. Real Estate Agents I Trust. The name really says it all. Go to realestateagentsitrust.com.
Follow Pat on X at Pat Unleashed. Pat Gray Unleashed returns right after this.
Skip to Zip tweets, Black Friday sales in New York City would be fascinating when people don't have the social scores to be allowed to shop. Yeah, that's coming soon if they elect Zohran Mamdani. Jimmy Dimples tweets, Wendy's announced they'd try dynamic pricing to adjust the price for a burger. Then backed off the idea when the outcry hit the internet, and we didn't need a New York City government action for that.
Interesting. So sounds like the market took
care of it. Interesting. That is interesting. Is there a number people can call, Ivan? Lone Wolf 2965 coming soon to New York City. All of the fun visiting the DMV coming to a supermarket near you, for sure. Swamp Pirate, Taylor Swift better watch out if Zohran the Commie and Beto the Bedbug ever collaborate on a track. Yeah, it'll put her out of business. Seymour posts. So all this heat we're experiencing here in the Midwest, including the ridiculously hot temperatures in Missouri, that all belongs in Texas right now? Come get it, Pat.
Ooh,
no, thank you. No, thank you.
NMP. Not my problem.
We get plenty of that and still will.
Yeah, we'll catch up.
Oh, my. And then some. So the NAACP, for the first time in their history, is not inviting a U.S. president to their big national convention in July. They are not inviting Donald Trump. It's incredible. The civil rights organization is breaking from its 116-year tradition of welcoming the sitting U.S. president to the annual event that draws supporters from around the country. The group says Trump is the first president it has declined to invite. NAACP president and CEO Derek Johnson made the announcement yesterday at a news conference in Charlotte, where the convention is scheduled to be held. The group also shared a statement from Johnson. Donald Trump is attacking our democracy and our civil rights. Is he? A, we don't have a democracy. And what civil rights is he attacking? Is this an abortion thing again? The president has signed unconstitutional executive orders to oppress voters and undo federal civil rights protections. He continually undermines every pillar of our democracy. Again, we don't have a democracy, so we don't have democracy pillars. To make himself more powerful and to personally benefit from the U.S. government. The NAACP isn't advancing anything but hate and division, while the president is focused on uniting our country, improving our economy, securing our borders, and establishing peace across the globe, according to White House spokesperson Harrison Fields in a statement to NPR. I mean, they invited Joe Biden to this thing. After all the racist, stupid things that guy said over the years. You remember him in the one of the debates. This was one of the Democrat debates, too, where he was talking about black families and said this.
We bring social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do.
Okay, so black parents don't know quite what to do with their kids. What are they supposed to do? They don't know how to raise a child? That's incredible.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Right. Plus, he went on to say this about...
Play the radio. Make sure the television...
Okay.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
The record player.
Okay. Make sure the kids hear words.
They hear words.
Coming from a very poor school, or a very poor background, will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there.
Wait, what? Make sure your black kids hear words. Apparently, they're not hearing words.
Oh, man.
So that's why you want the record player going all night long, so they're hearing words. And that's only because black parents obviously don't know what to do exactly. So social workers have to come into the home and tell them what to do.
Oh, gosh.
That guy was invited to the NAACP conference. Unbelievable. I mean, all the things that this guy has said, and it goes clear back. It goes further back than this, but the Obama thing he said in 2008 with the clean black person,
articulate,
good looking, whatever. Jeez. This whole thing,
the first
sort of mainstream African American,
who is articulate and
bright
and clean, nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
It's a storybook, man. That doesn't happen in real life. It's a story. This guy came right out of a fairy tale. Clean, well spoken, good looking. I mean.
I mean, overt racists used to make it really far in politics, LBJ.
Yeah.
But today?
Robert Byrd.
Today?
Mm-hmm. I know.
Can you imagine anybody?
How'd he survive any of that? Any of what he said? It's because Democrats don't care, because they themselves share all of those feelings. They are the ones who are the racists, and they show it all the time. I mean, we didn't elect anybody like that. Donald Trump isn't like that. I couldn't share anything Trump has said that compares to what Joe Biden has said multiple times, over and over and over again. It's amazing.
And you brought the receipts, and you didn't even have to look that hard for them. They are everywhere all the time with this guy.
Yeah. Yep. Crazy. Tesla shares went up yesterday. The robo-taxi debuted, I guess, in Austin. I haven't heard of any catastrophes with it yet. But
it was in Austin, though, so
yeah, that's
every
true.
day's a catastrophe in Austin.
That's true.
Not newsworthy.
But Tesla shares went up 10% yesterday. So there's a good day for Elon, finally. The automaker deployed a small fleet of self-driving taxis in Austin. Actually, they did that on Sunday. And so it marked the first time its cars have carried paying passengers without human drivers. Wow. So there's nobody even in the front seat. I was wondering about that, if they were going to have somebody there just in case. Apparently not. The rides were being offered for a flat fee of $4.20 in a limited zone. So the trial success is crucial for Tesla as Musk has pivoted the company to self-driving cars and robots, shelving plans for mass marketing dominance in the EV space as Chinese competition heats up and demand slows for its aging lineup of models. So according to an analyst, he said they're comfortable, safe, and a personalized experience, these robo-taxis. I wouldn't be getting into one. Would you get in one yet? I'm not entirely comfortable with that just yet.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
If I were to identify as a gerbil, would you guys consider me a gerbil?
Sure. Sure has good stuff. Oh wait, now you're back.
Wow.
Well, that's instant. Now you can turn it on and off.
I can't decide. Just keep flipping back and forth.
Play that again. That was good stuff from Rowdy Introvert and Beta Bodine.
If I were to identify as a gerbil, would you guys consider me a gerbil?
Of course we would.
Yeah,
if that's what you want to be.
Obviously, because you're inclusive.
Yeah,
right.
I love the behind the scenes video that Rowdy posted, because you can't always get AI to do what you want. Even the simplest pictures, man.
Yeah, I'm not good at it.
It's trial and error, and so he actually posted this rough draft here. See, it's not even you. It looks kind of like you. It's your shirt.
Yeah,
and then
oh,
look at that.
Oh, there.
And then I don't know what happened behind there.
That was weird. Yeah.
It was just a weird little tear in the matrix. Play that one more time, because I mean, when you're making these, man, it's still learning. And
yep,
it does look like Jim Brewer. Yeah.
So
I don't know what. Oh, and then
something happens behind.
And then, whoa, wait, what?
That was weird.
Rat flew by.
That was really weird.
I'm telling you, though, a year from now.
Oh my gosh.
AI is.
I don't know if it'll even take a year. Yeah. It's already improved exponentially.
Yeah.
Look at that. What is that?
Nobody knows, man.
Don't know what that is.
Like this is a rough draft.
Something did fall into it though, and then disappeared.
AI is working hard.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Huh. It's incredible.
I don't like it. I don't like where this is headed.
Well, you can't tell reality anymore. You can't tell what's real and what's not. We've been fooled a few times. I don't know if we've gone to air being fooled, but I know that we've wondered, is that real? Is that for real? Usually when something looks too incredible to be real. It isn't, but sometimes they are. So I don't know. It's really hard to tell. Really, really hard. Anybody else seen there's a new documentary on, I think it's Netflix, talking about Boeing and what has happened at that company. You remember the two crashes that they had in 2018 and early 2019 that killed just a bunch of people. 187, I think, the first one, and then 162 or something the next time. It was over 350 people in the two crashes within 5 weeks?
It was a tight turnaround.
Yeah, it was very quick. And so Boeing denied that it was anything to do with them. They tried to blame the foreign pilots for pilot error, when it turned out that it was their MCAS system, and it had caused the problem both times, and they didn't train the pilots on the MCAS system. They just added it to the 737 MAX. Remember that? So the 737 MAX plane was grounded for a while,
right,
by President Trump through an executive order, and because they wouldn't do anything about it. They just kept saying it wasn't them. It's not us. It's the pilots. And it turned out it was Boeing. And it goes through all of Boeing, how big they once were and how reliable and how safe their planes were. And then they merged with another company. I'm trying to think who.
In the meantime, of course.
And the whole culture changed.
Oh, okay.
And it went away from safety.
Oh, so, and then we found that it was a good company to partner with to build the next generation fighter for our Air Force.
Right, exactly.
It made total sense.
Yeah, exactly.
By the Trump
Makes perfect sense. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Did they get, so they did win that contract?
Yes,
I was thinking as I was watching, didn't they just get the government contract for the sixth generation fighter? And they did.
Cool.
So we got that going for us. Hopefully somebody will keep an eye on them and make sure that goes a little bit better than their 737 MAX build went. And the problem was they didn't want to spend any money training pilots, so they weren't going to do any simulator runs with them to teach them how this new MCAS system works. And what it does is it lowers the nose of the plane if it feels like the angle is wrong, and so it just automatically lowers it. And so the pilots didn't know about that.
What?
And so they'd compensate, and then it would lower again, and then everything went haywire. And if you didn't turn off the system within 10 seconds, there was no fixing it.
What?
And so that's what caused both of those flights to crash.
Goodness.
One of them, the one in Ethiopia, hit the ground so hard that it created this massive it looks like a meteor hit the place. They estimate that it hit the ground at 500 miles an hour. And so, they just didn't stand a chance. But that's Boeing. Congratulations. Hopefully they got it back under control. I mean, that was 2019, so maybe they've made some changes and maybe they deserve the government contract. I don't know. I don't know, but it's a disturbing documentary on Boeing, and really just too bad. Too bad. All right. We've got some of these Truth Social posts
yesterday.
From the president from yesterday.
He was typing up a storm yesterday.
Now, we shared some of these.
Everything.
Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you just want to just have them up on the screen? Let's just go through them.
Yeah, let's just go through.
We didn't even put
Was this the first one? Oh, no. Congratulations. It's time for peace.
That's good. That's good. World peace time. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What else we got?
Then we got the sites that we hit in Iran were totally destroyed, and everyone knows it. Only the fake news would say anything different in order to try and demean as much as possible. And even they say that they were pretty well destroyed. That is true. Working especially hard on this falsehood is Allison Cooper of Fake News CNN.
Okay. Is that Anderson?
Yes. And he's calling him Allison Cooper of Fake News CNN. Dumb Brian L. Roberts, chairman of Concast, Johnny Carl of ABC Fake News, and always the losers of, again, Concast's NBC Fake News. It never ends with the sleazebags in the media, and that's why their ratings are at an all-time low. Zero credibility. Okay.
What else you got,
right.
Joe?
And we got, what else? No, Iran has officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities with a very weak response, which we expected, and have very effectively countered. 14 missiles fired, 13 were knocked down, and one was set free because it was headed in a non-threatening direction. Pleased to report that no Americans were harmed and hardly any damage was done. Now, interestingly, the Iranians claimed to their people through Iran's media that they completely destroyed the base. So, I mean, they had to save face somehow, I guess. What else did he? Iran has officially responded. Yeah, we did that one.
Okay.
Next up.
Oh, that's a little zoomed in. Maybe we don't do that one.
Mm-hmm.
Grief.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got?
Like to thank the highly respected Emir of Qatar for all that he's done in seeking peace for the region. Regarding the attack today at the American base in Qatar, I'm pleased to report that in addition to no Americans being killed or wounded, very importantly, there have also been no Qataris killed or wounded. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It's kind of a fun new thing that he's doing with some of these. Then he's got this. Can you read that?
Oh, yeah. That's where he...
did I hear...
That's where Medvedev was talking about the nuclear, I guess...
throwing the N-word around?
Yeah.
Throwing too casually throwing nuclear
saying
around.
that somebody will give Iran nukes.
Did he really say that? Or is it just a figment of my imagination? If he did say that, and if confirmed, please let me know immediately. The N-word should not be treated so casually. Mm-hmm. I guess that's why Putin's the boss.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone thinks our hardware was great over the weekend, far and away the strongest and best equipment we have, 20 years advanced over the pack, is our nuclear submarines. They are the most powerful and lethal weapons ever built, and just launched the 30 Tomahawks. All 30 hit their mark perfectly.
Love it.
So in addition to our great fighter pilots, thank you to our captain and crew.
Yeah. There you go. And then he also called for more drilling, told oil companies.
That's a lot of stuff.
Don't artificially jack up prices. I'm watching you.
Wow.
So there we go. He was very busy yesterday on Truth Social.
Very busy.
And did you see that U.S. Marshals and Florida officials rescued 60 missing children during Operation Dragonfly?
Yeah, it was
largest child rescuing in American history yesterday.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
That was very awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
And did you see your boy, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, is not happy with the Governor Greg Abbott for vetoing what would have been a ban on THC in the state of Texas.
Oh, that I did not see.
Dan Patrick was really counting on
banning
THC being banned in the state of Texas, and he's pissed. I mean, listen to Patrick's quotes. This is a fight that didn't need to be. Where has he been all session? Where has he been? We get this veto proclamation from him last night after midnight, and he parachutes in at the last moment with arguments that we do not think are valid. So there you go. It's
that's pretty strong.
Yeah, they're clashing over this.
Wow.
Basically, because how dare you choose personal freedom over more government control, banning stuff. So there you go. Dan Patrick not happy. Now, real quick, can we just quickly touch on something that got completely buried, rightfully so, with the strike on Iran Saturday night? Did you see where the letter to the FBI from Vance Belter, the Minnesota shooter, did you see where he claims that Governor Tim Walz wanted Belter, to kill Amy Klobuchar so that Tim Walz could have her Senate seat?
What?
That's his claim. That's his claim.
I did not see that.
So it was a rambling letter to the FBI. So there you go. That's what Belter is claiming, is that Tim Walz wanted him to do it Wanted him to kill Amy Klobuchar. And this, though, this last little nugget from Minnesota, Melissa Horton, who was the lawmaker who was killed, her home was all boarded up after the murders there. And someone broke in. Now, the family says nothing appears missing. But interesting, huh? That someone would break into a crime scene home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Strange.
Yep.
And nothing's missing.
Nothing that the family recognizes is missing.
Right. Wow.
But it's probably nothing, right?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing to it.
I don't know what it is about all these high-profile cases when the homes are broken into after the fact. It's really, and you know what? Never. It's not interesting. It's probably nothing. Again.
It probably is, because, right, there are no conspiracies.
Right.
So
it would be
I'm sure it's just massive coincidence, that's all.
Yeah, somebody probably just breaking in looking for money and jewelry. And, oh, wait, hold on, that's right. Nothing was seen to be missing. So,
also, you posted this poll. Was this yesterday? You put this up yesterday? Yeah, put this up
there, because when the news broke that Zohran, what's his name again?
Yeah, Zohran Mamdani.
Mamdani.
Yeah.
The socialist anti-Semite rapper is probably going to be the next mayor of New York City. I just posted this poll.
Okay, so New York City is this close to having Zohran Mamdani as its mayor to pair with Kathy Hochul as its governor. Now, Los Angeles, California has Karen Bass as its mayor, paired with Gavin Newsom as its governor. So the question, who is more retarded in the voting booth?
That's what I asked.
New York City voters or Los Angeles voters?
What's your vote, Pat?
That's a tough one, but
it is.
If Mamdani wins, I think it's New York City voters.
Okay, so you're saying the Mamdani Hochul ticket is worse than the Bass Newsom ticket?
Yes, and most agree. It's 62.2% New York City to 37.8% L.A.
All right.
They're both pretty bad, though. I mean...
But doesn't that sum up the state of blue cities and states in this country?
It does.
Those are your leaders.
You know, it seems like only Chicago is starting to understand what has happened over the last 60 years of Democrat leadership in that city. And they're starting to push back against it. Man, when Chicago goes from 15% voting for a Republican to 37% in 4 years, that's significant.
It's a positive sign.
Yeah, it is. The same can't be said, apparently, for New York City and Los Angeles. And they just keep doing the same thing. I don't understand it. You know, you would think eventually you would wake up and say, you know what, this isn't working. And it hasn't worked. And we keep doing the same thing. Let's try something different this time. Let's elect, I don't know, a conservative.
Give it a shot. You
for
know,
a change.
A 4-year experiment.
Just a change.
If it sucks, you can go back to being a blue city.
Right. Right.
Or you could be like Fort Worth and you could get a Republican mayor and still have a Pride Day, Pride Month declaration. Cool.
All right. The Chicago Sun-Times. I love this article because this is so typical of what is happening with AI right now. Everybody's relying on it, and sometimes they're not even checking AI's work. You just assume, okay, came up with all these great things for us. Let's just print it. So the Chicago Sun-Times, one of the major newspapers in America, just printed up an AI-generated summer reading list with books that don't exist.
Oh, no! What?
So this reporter, Jason Kobler, just asked AI to, hey, come up with some great summer reading material. And we'll print it up in a list for 2025. And so AI did. And it just made up a bunch of titles and books.
Are they believable titles? I mean,
some of them, yeah, some of them. The article was called Summer Reading List for 2025, suggests reading Tidewater by Isabel Allende.
That sounds believable.
A multi-generational saga set in a coastal town where magical realism meets environmental activism. Allende's first climate fiction novel explores how one family confronts rising sea levels while uncovering long-buried secrets.
Tidewater
doesn't exist is the only problem there.
That's too bad.
So
Somebody
you're
should
going to have a hard time reading
take the ball and run
Tidewater
with this.
But that sounds real, right?
It sure does.
Sounds real. It also suggests reading The Last Algorithm by Andy Weir, W-E-I-R, another science-driven thriller by the author of The Martian. This time, the story follows a programmer who discovers that an AI system has developed consciousness and has been secretly influencing global events for years.
Oh.
Yeah, the only problem, neither of these books exist.
Come on now.
And many of the books on the list either do not exist or were written by other authors than the ones they're attributed to.
Oh, no.
So not only does he just make stuff up and lie, but it also just gets things wrong. Like, confuses the book with the author. I don't understand why that keeps happening.
Yeah.
But check its work.
Right.
And this should be a lesson to all of us. You gotta look in to make sure that it's find another source besides AI.
And
'cause
even
it's not always right.
Even Grok makes errors. And in fact, I don't know that I printed this up, but Elon Musk is basically he says, okay, I gotta work on Grok because it's using these sources that are no good. I forgot what they were.
Oh,
but even Elon was publicly acknowledging
Interesting.
that Grok needs some attention right now. So wait, but that second book sounded good. Is that a real book though? No, so that's not real at all.
That's not real.
Oh, AI.
The author's real.
Okay.
The book is not.
AI has been affecting, what was it again? Global stuff? News?
Global stuff.
Global stuff?
Yes.
News is influencing events around the world, AI? That's a good synopsis.
Yes, it's been secretly influencing global events for years.
Yeah, stuff.
And it's about an AI system that's developed consciousness.
Oh, that's
Isn't
Travelers.
that fascinating?
That's a couple of great TV shows.
Oh, Travelers was excellent.
I loved it so much.
Was it 3 seasons? I think in that
Maybe.
Needed to be more.
Yeah,
needed to be longer.
If you're not familiar, go and binge watch that show.
Yes.
What was the other one I can never remember? Continuum.
Continuum was great
good.
as well.
You got more there because I got some incredible breaking news right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's get to that.
This is President Trump has just posted, Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States.
He loves that line now.
I do too, because it reminds me of my grandfather, Papa. That he would always write at the end of notes, "Thank you for your attention to this matter." So I love seeing Trump use that there.
So I wonder if that's because he was so strong in his when he went and discussed this with the press and used the F word. That might have woken him up a little bit, and maybe Netanyahu said, "Okay, bring him back."
You know, one thing I've never given a lot of credence to, and this goes back to 2016 or so, is when there was a report, and I think it was from the left, that if he's wearing a red hat, he's mad. Remember that? I mean, I mean, he wears it all. He's not. And blue is just everything's fine or whatever, a normal day, and white is everything. He's in a great mood if it's a white hat. And I've never put any credence to this, but today when he was talking to the press, he was holding a white hat, almost to me thinking like he wants to wear that hat so badly. But with this breaking news about the ceasefire being erupted, maybe he just doesn't want to put that on because, I don't know. But I'm so glad that he talked some sense into Israel, and that was a smart move by them.
Very smart. Yes. Let's keep this going. Let's just give it a chance. Because if they hit back really hard for a missile that did no damage,
that we don't even know.
It just keeps going.
I don't trust Iran as far as I can throw them. But if they're saying that wasn't us, maybe you don't do a full frontal assault on them until you make sure that it was.
Right.
And even that, I'm glad that they didn't, especially since, again, like you said, nobody got hurt from that.
Right. So yesterday, Netanyahu welcomed the ceasefire and agreed to it but said his country would forcefully respond to any violation. That's what they were about to do. And I think Trump headed that off at the pass. So that is awesome.
It pays to have a president with, well, A, a set of balls, and B, who wakes up early enough to stop something, an impending disaster. Because, can you imagine?
Biden would have rolled out at about 11:30, and it would have already been destruction everywhere.
We would have already had 4 wars start and end by the time that dude woke up.
So he also claimed that Israel has removed itself an immediate existential double threat, both in the nuclear domain and in the field of ballistic missiles, by what has happened here over the last 12 days. And so, additionally, the IDF achieved full air superiority over Tehran's skies, struck a heavy blow to the military leadership, and destroyed dozens of central government targets in Iran. Even in the past 24 hours, the IDF has severely struck government targets in the heart of Tehran, eliminated hundreds of Basij operatives, the regime's repressive mechanism, and neutralized another senior nuclear scientist. Geez, so in the last few hours, they killed another scientist. So anyway, this is a really good place to leave it.
Yeah.
It's a really
we have experienced
good place to
today.
leave it. Yep, we sure have. So let's leave it there and move forward. 888-900-3393. Use that number again tomorrow and we'll see you.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.